I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday to you all. Hope you're all having a nice day. Hope you all had a nice Memorial Day. I won a few dollars. Nothing crazy. Went 2-2. Blue Jays was my big one at plus 120. That was a nice one. Really made me sweat for it. Chris just got here. We're going to start with WNBA. We got a lot on the docket here. So a quick rundown how this is going to go. Whoa, Chris is huge. A quick rundown how this is going to go. We have 5 NBA games, WNBA games. Then we have the Knicks Pacers. Then we have MLB with Toast. Toast wasn't on last night, so we got to hear what Toast has to say. And then we have the golf tournament at the end. So we'll be live for a while for those of you that are going to stay with us for the whole duration. So let's get started. Dallas on the road against Connecticut, and I don't have a graphic for you here, so I'm assuming this one's a pass for you, Chris?
Yeah, I didn't bet this one, Kyle. Couple things that stand out here. First of all, Connecticut's probably the worst team in the WNBA. They just lost to Atlanta, got smoked by Atlanta. I'm talking about wasn't even close. I think if you look at the numbers, they're one of the only teams that haven't won a game. They've only covered one game. That was on the road. Dallas has the rest advantage. Dallas also hasn't won a game yet, though. And the reason why I couldn't bet it, Kyle, because it's opened at 2. In favor of Dallas. The reason why I couldn't bet it is because this Dallas team's not a team you want to lay points with. They were favorites 10 times last season. They went 3-7 straight up as a favorite, 1-9 against the number. So I kind of want to fade them, but I think Connecticut's really just that bad. They took my money against Minnesota. What was that, like last Tuesday when we did a show? So I stayed away from the game. For people who like into narratives, Paige Beckers is returning back to really close to UConn. So that's something, if you want to bet on her prop. She did get like kind of benched in the last game against Atlanta over the weekend. So I think she was has playing a big like game. Shit. Nah, just because like the second unit was playing better than the first unit. She's a starter. Her numbers were good. I almost bet her points, rebounds, and assists, and I'm glad I ended up staying away. But I think she has a big game in this one. So that's the way I would probably bet Paige Beckers if I was betting the game. Also, I think with total going up, Cal, I do like the over. I know Connecticut's offense is really, really trash, but so is Dallas's defense. So is Connecticut's defense as well. So probably a Dallas team total over, full game over. Can't get there with the 4.5 though. It may be live, but it seems like too much for me to lay with the Wings on the road.
All right, so over or pass from Chris in this one. Let's move on to the next game, which is Valkyries on the road against the Liberty, and the line is 17.5. Wow. Yeah,
so this has been fluctuating, back and forth, guys. This open, I saw 17. What I really wanted to bet with, though, was the total. And I agree with the line coming down. I just didn't pull the trigger early enough. It wasn't any game yesterday in the WNBA. This total opened like 170. And it's been bet all the way down to 162.5, I think is what I see you have on the screen here. And I absolutely agree with it. The Valkyries, they are 2-1 so far, but their offense stinks. They're 3-0 to the under. They can't score the basketball. I got them rated as the second best defensive team, surprisingly, but also the third worst offensive rated team, third worst effective field goal percentage team. They haven't hit 80 points at all. So I do think the Liberty can win this game without, having to score a ton of points, especially if the Valkyries going to bring it on the defensive end. The reason why I didn't bet it is because Tiffany Hayes for the Golden State Valkyries, probably their best guard, is listed as questionable. She got like kind of elbowed in the nose by Shakira Austin a couple games ago and missed the last game. Monique Billings is also listed as questionable. So those are two big pieces in my opinion. When I look at the Liberty, because they are head and shoulders a lot better than this Valkyries team. Also got to take into consideration the Valkyries only played 2 teams so far, and 2 of those teams were the Sparks. Like they played the Sparks twice. So when I look back to last year, granted the Liberty should steamroll this Valkyries team. But as a double-digit home favorite last season, they were 2-10 against the spread. I can't. Another spot where I can't lay. I guess I'd be taking the points, but I think the under is probably the better play if I had to play anything here, Kyle.
So this one would be under or pass. To the next one where you do have a bet, because I have a Storm plus 7.5 graphic here.
So Storm plus 7.5. I didn't bet this one either, but that's the way that I'm looking. Only way that I would want to play this, and I get it, right? The Storm are coming off the biggest win they've had probably in a while. Like they absolutely smoked the Aces, and they are a team that plays better in Seattle, of course. But I kind of feel like Minnesota plays around with their food a little bit, and I'm not sure if they will in this game or not. But I think Seattle, if they can bring the defense, I do expect their offense to struggle. Minnesota is still a really good defensive team, even though they haven't covered any of their games at home. They are one of the only two WNBA teams that's still undefeated, them and the New York Liberty. So, I do expect Seattle just to bring it defensively. These are really two good defensive teams. Seattle's fourth in defensive rating. We just cashed on that team total, them to hold the Aces under their team total on Sunday. They're allowing just 76 points per game, second in the league. Minnesota, also sixth best defensive rated team. They're allowing just 77 points per game as well, good for fourth in the league. So both of these teams bottom three in pace. It feels like an under spot. The total has dropped, I think, 2.5 points already, so I'll stay away from that. I just think Seattle has enough to not get blown out here. Minnesota hasn't covered the spread at the crib all season. So, proverbial gun to my head, I would take Minnesota. I would take Seattle catching 7.5 points, thinking that they're a little bit better than 8. That's kind of disrespectful. I know it's the Lynx, but sheesh.
We got Helms and Shipley in the comments saying they're on Minnesota. Toast is going to tell you, though, on Storm plus 7.5. He actually said Storm money line.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, Kayla McBride does come back today. She has not been a part of that offense. She was out for personal reasons, so some reconditioning for her. That could mess up the offensive rhythm just a little bit. Seattle they're really good at home. They just got to prove it to me on the road. So we'll see.
Next up, I see a Chicago side team total under here.
The only way you could bet. Chicago has actually probably been, I don't even think it's a probably. Yeah, they are. They're the worst offensive and defensive team in the WNBA. I actually wanted to give them some credit.
Chicago's kind of the worst team in the league?
Yeah.
Not worse than the Valkyries, dude.
No. The Valkyries are 2-1 straight up and against the spread. The Chicago Sky 0-3 straight up, 0-3 against the spread.
No way that they're worse than the expansion team.
And
dude.
they have a negative 29.9 net rating. I'm talking about every game they've gotten smoked. They got smoked by the Fever. I wanted to give them credit. They got smoked by the Fever to open the season with Caitlin Clark. Then they lost to the Liberty by 100, and then it wasn't a real 100, but they lost by a lot. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, they got the Sparks. The Sparks aren't that good. I would take the point. They get blown out by the Sparks too. So, I can't look towards Chicago. It's no resemblance of life. Like, I need a pulse or something for Chicago. And meanwhile, Phoenix. I already told you they're the worst offensive rated team, worst defensive rated team. Phoenix at the crib, they got the X Factor. The X Factor is almost kind of like playing. It's like playing at the Garden, like MSG. Like everybody's hyped, like everybody's riled up. They always sell out every single game. And when they're at home, Phoenix always plays better. So on top of all that, I just talked about how bad Chicago's offense is. Phoenix is the number one defensive rated team in the NBA. I mean, the WNBA. They're giving up 71 points per game. So I'm not sure how the Sky will get to 76 here. That would be the only way I would play it. I'm not sure why this line is getting shorter. Sharp money, I guess, coming in on Chicago because this was at 7.5 yesterday. But it's the only way I would play this one.
Sky team total under 75.5. All right. Mercury have a home court advantage there.
They do. They call it the X Factor.
I like it. That's cool. Last game on the board, we got the Atlanta Dream on the road in LA to play the Sparks. Only 2 here for the Sparks. Oh, I keep forgetting, because Cameron Brink's back and they got Kelsey Plum now. I keep forgetting that the Sparks were terrible last year.
They were, and Cameron Brink's still not playing. She should be back.
She's not playing
next week. Not yet. She should be back next month. I think sometime in June is what they're anticipating. But to go with what you're talking about with the injury report, Kyle, a couple of big things that stand out on the injury report here, which is why I laid it with. I didn't lay it. I played money line for the Sparks. They still kind of scare me a little bit, but it's a terrible spot for Atlanta. So talking about the injuries first and foremost, Rakia Jackson returns off the injury report. They still will be without Ray Burrell. There's still no Cameron Brink, like you said, but Rakia Jackson does return. Pau is off the injury report for Atlanta. She probably is going to help them out, specifically on the defensive end. But Brittany Griner, who missed that game against Connecticut on Sunday, is also out in this game. She's not going to play. And that's why this line moved. It actually opened with Atlanta laying 2.5 points, and then it flipped to 1.5 and then 2 for the Sparks. So you got an Atlanta team that has been playing good. They're 3-2 straight up, 1-1 against the spread on the road. But I talked about the travel spot. They played 3 games at the crib in Atlanta last week. And this is the first game of the road trip on the West Coast. So they're flying all the way from Atlanta, having just only one rest day in between, all the way to LA. So you got them crossing, multiple time zones. Outside of that, it's a 4th game in 6 nights. They were just playing their 3rd game in 6 nights. Now it's 4th game in 6 nights. No Brittany Griner. This is my favorite spot on the board. I think the longer the game goes on, the more it favors the Sparks. The Sparks' offense has actually been good. They're second best in offensive rating throughout the first 5 games. They're 4th in points per game, 5th in effective field goal percentage. I think De'Erica Hamby, Azare Stevens, Kelsey Plum. I think even some of those guards, like in the fours, I think they all get busy tonight. Sparks up. That's the play of the day. Sparks money line. Or I think you could lay the points too. I need a little bit more of a sample size before I want to lay point spreads and not just take points. So I take money line. So I did play Sparks money line in this game, Kyle.
Sparks money line. I like it. Play of the day. Now, let's talk NBA. It's Knicks Pacers, and let's bring on good old Matt Modi. Matt, why is your Twitter so damn depressing anymore? It's like dongs are cold. Like
that. I mean, that's why you just answered the question. When dongs heat up, things are going to be a lot more exciting on my Twitter.
When the dongs heat up, Modi's Twitter becomes exciting.
Exactly.
All right. So,
cold dongs. Oh man.
Terrible.
So are you referring specifically to your home run picks or just home run picks in general?
Well, this weekend was especially bad, but more so me specifically as opposed to, home runs were down overall this weekend, which was terrible, but it's a longer period than this weekend for me specifically. So that's more so what I'm referring to.
All right. So maybe today is the day Dr. Modi turns it around here. So Matt, I actually saw you tweeted out a Jalen Brunson prop. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Decent basketball player.
No, but you took his under, right?
No, I took his over.
Oh, you're on Brunson over? Okay, what's the number?
It's 30-plus points, -110 odds at BetMGM. Let me make sure that that's still the same price. Yeah, -111 FanDuel. So, yeah, basically the same thing.
Okay, cool. So, Modi is on Jalen Brunson over. Want to share why you're on Brunson or just because he's the man?
Mostly because he's the man. There are 2 reasons. Number one, even if Aaron Nesmith plays, there's no way he's going to be 100%. Like, you just can't suit up after a sprained ankle like that. And he's been the only guy that can really do anything to disrupt Jalen Brunson. So, like, if it's Nembhard, Brunson's going to cook him. If it's Shepherd, Brunson's going to cook him. And this is just a perfect regression or like positive regression spot after last game. Played 31 minutes, which in the playoffs is low because he was in foul trouble basically the entire game, and they went on a huge run with him out. I just can't possibly see that happening again. And the Pacers defense, like we saw in games 1 and 2, they're just gonna let him cook them one-on-one. They're not gonna let him not to let him get 10 assists, 11 assists like he had in game 2. That's really not their style. It's more so like we saw in game 1, 43 points and 5 assists. And that's kind of what I'm expecting from Jalen Brunson, is just for him to go off from a scoring perspective. So yeah, that one. Yeah, some like I feel like for some of these playoff series, you kind of have to force a play. There's only one game. This one I feel very, very good about.
All right, Brunson, 30-plus points. Chris, what are you doing in this?
I want to play over. I haven't played anything. I want to play over, and I want to play Pacers. I think they go up 3-1. I think they get back to playing fast. But I do kind of want Nesmith to be in there. I feel like your Knicks did. What do you say, Kyle? They we saw their best curveball. Fourth quarter, Karl Anthony Towns, 20 points, 8 rebounds.
It was an okay game.
Offense, Kyle, that's what I'm thinking. Y'all offense looked really kind of okay, in my opinion, in the last couple games. And I thought that's where y'all had an advantage. The Pacers actually slowed y'all down a couple games in a row. Granted, y'all slowed them down in the second half of game 3, but y'all just not scoring as well. I think the longer the series goes on, the more it favors the Pacers, just because, they have a deeper rotation. I don't know if Tibbs is going to go back to his bench after it was, even if it was successful. Tibbs is a pretty stubborn guy. So I think the energy that it took to curate such a fantastic comeback, dramatic comeback down 20 points in the second half. Give me the Pacers. I want the Pacers, and I want the over.
I do agree with the over. I'll be taking the Knicks though.
It's just shocking.
Money line, keep the points. The way the Pacers played in game 2, they shoot like that, they're going to win. So if the Pacers shoot 43% from 3 again, they're going to win because the Knicks have an elite perimeter defense. The Pacers aren't even an elite three-point shooting team. So if the Pacers are going to hit threes at that rate, the Knicks aren't going to win this game. I don't think they will because, like I said, the Pacers are not the Celtics when it comes to shooting the outside shot. And what we saw in games 1 and 2 is we saw the Pacers shooting north of 40% from outside in both games, which is, in my opinion, something that shouldn't happen in this matchup. Not that I'm saying the Pacers are ass or anything. I'm just saying the Knicks have an elite perimeter defense, and a team like Indiana should not be shooting north of 40% from outside. So I still kind of think the way game 1 ended has people a little bit skewed about this series. If that circus shit doesn't happen at the end of the game, the Knicks are in the driver's seat right now, up 2-1, and I feel like we have it's tough in sports, not just basketball, in all sports, when a single instance kind of skews our whole vision. Well, think about it. If that weird-ass bounce doesn't go in, what is our view of the series right now with the Knicks up 2-1, having just beaten the Pacers in Indiana? It's almost like we view it completely differently, just one shot. So I do think the Knicks are the better team overall, but like I said, if the Pacers play like they did in Game 2, the Knicks aren't going to win. It's just a matter of how rare of an occurrence was that, because the Pacers were damn near perfect in that game. That offense was unstoppable. It was crisp. They don't turn the ball over, which is another thing the Knicks have to be better with. Usually they're pretty good with that. There's been a lot of uncharacteristic things from New York in this series. Not closing out games that's so unlike New York. That's our strength.
It's so Celtic-ish the way y'all beat them last series.
Do not compare us.
That's what I was going to say. When the Knicks went up 2-0 against the Celtics, and both times they came back from 20 down, were you saying, well, if the comeback doesn't go a little bit the same way, then Celtics are up 2-0, and we
Mitchell Robinson is such a great rebounder. He forces that pressure on the outside. So
hold on. I was never like, oh, the Knicks should have won those games. I was just betting ATS. It was like, clearly the Celtics shouldn't have been laying 9.5 was
sure.
My really contention. It wasn't like, oh, told you the Knicks were better or anything. I did think we would beat Boston in the series. I didn't expect to see 2 20-point comebacks. That's freaking crazy. Still unbelievable. I expect the Knicks to be in the driver's seat in this game. They're not trying to be down 20 points again. I think we see the series get evened up. Last night's series went to 3-1. This one, I think, is going to go 7, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes 7 and the road teams are 3-0 both in this series. I could see that. The Knicks going 3-0 in Indiana, and then the Pacers taking Game 5 in Madison Square Garden to go up 3-2. Knicks take Game 6 in Indiana to go 3-3. Then it comes back to Madison Square Garden for Game 7. With the road team a perfect 6-0 in the series. That's kind of how I see it going. So I do think the Knicks get this one. Obviously, copy and paste what I've been saying here, guys. It's a playoff basketball game, Eastern Conference Finals, just a few hours before tip. You are not going to beat these markets. Just gamble, have some fun. You can't go into betting sides and totals in the NBA of an Eastern Conference Final games 4 hours before tip-off and expecting to be getting value. It just doesn't exist. So just place a bet, have some fun, enjoy the game. Let's go New York. Chris, enjoy your day, man. Matt, you going to stick around and snap your cold streak here?
Yeah, it ends today.
Good luck with the dongs, Moda. Best of luck, Kyle. I'll see you tomorrow.
Later.
See you, Chris.
So I actually have I'll show you. Well, first, let's hit the song.
And it makes you feel down. And it makes you feel down. And it makes you feel down.
Yeah.
There it is. The Matt Modi home run pick screen.
Oh, you use the doctored fake appendix picture as well.
Yeah, that was a very controversial picture. The poll I'm putting up, will Modi snap his cold home run streak? Yes. No. Let's see what the people think. So go ahead, Matt. I have 3 graphics here for you.
Yeah, the good news is quite literally can't go worse than it's been going. It's only up from here. Number 1, Ketel Marte. It was plus 370 at FanDuel this morning. Now it's 360. I'd still take it there. He's not like his hard hit numbers aren't crazy, but when he hits the ball, he hits it incredibly hard. 6 barrels last 4 games. He has 3 hits, 100 plus, 3 fly balls that were 100 plus exit velocity in the last 5 games, which is third most, like tied for third most. The guy's going up against Mike Burrows is young, but he's only made 1 start, so you really don't want to make too much off of it. The only thing I know is that in that 1 start, 2 home runs, both of them were off of his 4-seam fastball, and Marte just annihilates 4-seamers, just absolutely crushes them. Next up, Jarren Duran. I always say his name wrong. Impossible to say correctly. Jarren Duran. He's at actually much better price than I got. I got $425. Now it's $475. So the market disagreed with me here. He might be the hottest hitter of baseball if you're just looking at exit velocity. His last 5 games, he's got 12 hits above 100 miles an hour. Next closest guy has 8. It's insane what he's doing to the baseball. You look at his hit logs over the last 4 or 5 games. It's crazy. In terms of he's even got 105 miles an hour off the bat, 6 of them between 10 and 40 degree launch angle, just smoking the baseball. Savali's on the mound. Dong guy. Yeah, he's only made 2 starts this year, but he's gotten hit up in both. Now he was worse in his first one. Dong guy, dong ball, pitcher, whatever you want to call it. He's better in his second start, but he still gave up a home run. And he's worse against lefties, and he allows a high fly ball rate, which is always the issue with Duran. So if he's able to get one in the air, the ball's going to go yard. And then the last one is Brandon. Is it Toast? Is it Low or Lau? Okay, that's what I thought. But then someone corrected me.
Don't listen to Toast. I say Low for both of them. Brandon
because
and Josh.
I said Lau on my YouTube video. Then somebody commented and said that was wrong. Said that it was Low, and I didn't think that was right. Anyways,
I would imagine Toast is correct there. I always say Low, but apparently the Rays guy is Lau.
Yeah, Josh Lowe, Brandon Lau. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so Brandon Lowe's also, he's hitting it kind of more like Ketel Marte. He doesn't have crazy, just in terms of raw number of hard hits, but when he does, it's put in the air. Barrel in 3 straight games heading into yesterday. Didn't have one yesterday, but he did have 2 hard hits. The best thing here is the stadium, Steinbrenner Field, that short right field porch. It's the best game by far in terms of home run from a weather plus stadium perspective. And he's going up against Joe Ryan, who is in terms of home run numbers aren't terrible. Home run per 9 is a decent 1.26, something like that. But high barrel rate, 14.5%, high launch angle. And the last 5 starts have been even worse, 17% barrel rate and launch angle just below 24 degrees. And Brandon Lau has always been good about putting the ball in the air. So he just needs to pull one a little bit. Doesn't need to be hit that far, and it's going to be a home run at the stadium. So those are the 3: Marte, Jarren Duran, Brandon Lau.
All right, Matt. Enjoy your day. Sorry. Someone in the comments said, did he just say the Knicks have an elite perimeter defense? They're horrible defending the 3 ball. They were literally first in the NBA in 3-point defensive efficiency post All-Star break. So incorrect information. Matt, enjoy your night, man. See you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. See you guys tomorrow.
Oh, yes, I do want to use it. I'll pull it up. We'll actually start off with that. All right, let's get Toast on the screen. Toast back in the land of Alaska. So his mic is going to go back to being unlistenable.
Yeah, don't make fun of me. It's on the way. The new one's on the way. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it today.
Yeah, so he's upgraded. He's got a mixer coming too. So it's going to be a whole new sound coming from Alaska shortly, probably by the end of this week or whatever. But so you guys already know what my picks are, so I'll be brief with mine. We have not heard from Toast yet on this slate, obviously, because he was in the middle of a flight last night when we went through them. So this first one is Dodgers Guardian. Actually, you know what? Let's do the underdog first, because if we don't do it now, I'll forget. So Let me go grab it. Yep, here it is.
Luckily, one of the guys that Modi just talked about is in my underdog, and Mr. Duran. So
go ahead, it's on the screen.
So when he, Jarren Duran, obviously Modi's on him for a home run. He just gave a lot of reasons to like. As far as this hits, runs, and RBI, if he hits a home run, obviously it cashes. But he's hit this number in 8 of his last 12 games. He's just been absolutely on fire, whether it be hard hit balls or just hitting the ball in general. So he's been one of the hottest hitters in baseball over the last couple of weeks. So I like that one. And then Pete Crow Armstrong, we've been playing him a lot lately, and it's been working out like a charm every time it seems like every time we play him. I will say he didn't have any hits yesterday, so what I went and did, I wanted to look and see how he's done after games where he didn't get hits. 4 of his last 5 games where the previous game he didn't have a hit, he had 2 hits alone. Not to mention the fact that he's going to be batting 4th today as well, so he's got multiple guys in front of him. So he should have a lot of opportunities to get not only to knock people in, but to get on base himself. So I did 2 those. Also, I did Ketel Marte, but.
So that is an underdog pick'em. If you don't have an underdog fantasy account, use the promo code BET. BET. That'll get you up to $1,000 deposit bonus match. So it's a 50% match. So if you deposit $2,000, they'll give you a free $1,000 to play with. If you deposit $500, they'll give you a free $250. You get how it works. So that promo code is BET. All right, Dodgers Guardians is first. I bet this game. That's the good news. The bad news is the market doesn't like it. I bet a -134, and you can now get a better number than that. So I got beat by the line here. I'm on the Dodgers. If you guys remember, I talked about it last night. I know everyone hates on Dustin May, but he's got some strong splits against lefty bats. Cleveland's loaded with lefty bats. If you look at Dustin May's game logs, he's actually pitched some good games. When he sees these lineups full of lefty bats, he pitched well against Arizona twice. He pitched well against the Nationals. So the times he's seen lineups like this, like Cleveland, that are just loaded with lefties, he's actually pitched well. Not to mention, Cleveland hasn't really been hitting at home all year. This is not the 2024 Guardians that were just scoring all these runs at home. It hasn't really been like that this year. So I know the only reason we're getting the Dodgers at such an affordable price is there's perceived to be a starting pitching advantage here on the Cleveland side. And given the fact that Cleveland's loaded with lefties, I don't even know if there's that much of a starting pitching advantage here. So I like the Dodgers. I'm a little worried about the bullpen. Cleveland's bullpen's completely rested. Dodgers did use both their guys, Scott and someone else last night. So not that the Dodgers bullpen is... Yeah, not that the Dodgers bullpen is completely taxed, but it's a little more so than Cleveland's. Maybe a little bit of an advantage for the Guardians in the late innings, but I thought -134 was affordable. You can now get a better number than that, so clearly the sharp action disagrees with my bet here.
Yeah, I got the Dodgers at 132, so we're not very much off. I played the Dodgers on the money line as well. The only thing I just want to add that, like, Dustin May has been very good, and he was very good in 2023. Again, I know that he dealt with some stuff, and then he wasn't good at the beginning of the year, especially late April, early May, but he's really started to pitch well. I was glad that Kyle mentioned that against Arizona versus all those lefties, because that was like my main point. Yeah, he had one weird start against the Angels over the last couple of weeks, but besides that, he's been pretty decent. And then on top of that, I think that people are like thinking that the Dodgers might be in a little bit of a slump or something like that, but I really don't think so. I mean, over their last 10 games, they've scored a decent amount of runs. 7-1-2, 7-3-4, 5-4, 9-2. Okay. But over the last couple games, because I was in the weekend, I was in freaking Queens. On Saturday, they scored 2 runs after Friday flying across the country. They play Friday. They go through a rain delay. They play 13 innings. They don't play well on Saturday, whatever. Then on Sunday, they had to face Kodai Senga. Good luck. They didn't pitch well. Then obviously they finally see somebody that's not very good in Gavin Williams, or their legs aren't tired, and they absolutely destroy him. Otani's back and absolutely on fire right now. I agree with you with the bullpen situation, but I don't think that with the Dodgers bats, I honestly don't think it's going to matter.
We are polling 73% Dodgers, 20% Cleveland. So yeah, it looks like Dodgers are going to be a heavy public side here. Whatever. Not trying to scare you off.
Always are.
Cardinals, Orioles. I really wanted to take the Cardinals. Nah.
I got so scared.
I wanted to take the Cardinals, but on the midnight show last night, both Spoon and Trevor liked Baltimore, and I didn't feel very strongly about it. I think if they co-signed
how did they like Baltimore with the bullpen?
They liked the matchup for Sagano. I think they were talking
Who's
about
pitching the end of the game.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir. That's why I like the Cardinals. But but basically, I am a little worried about Palante here, and I think what eventually scared me off. I'll put the Cardinals up because that is my quote unquote pick for the game. I didn't bet it, and I think what scared me off. Now I could have got a -108 last night, so I would have been sitting on a few cents of value had I taken it. I think what scared me off is I might be underestimating just how much of an edge the Orioles have in the early frames here with Sagano against Palante. If the Orioles bats are coming to life, Palante pitching in this ballpark could be bad. I mean, he could get rocked, and it doesn't matter if I feel the Cardinals have the significant advantage in the late innings if they're going to be down 6-1. So I want to bet the Cardinals. I think, you know what? I'm just remembering now. What I ended up saying is if the Orioles take like a 4-0 early lead, I would look to get like a St. Louis plus 4.5 live, because I do think with the Orioles bullpen being limited, that you might be able to find a sneaky live bet on the Cardinals. Like if the Orioles take like a 4-1 lead, I'd really love a St. Louis plus 3.5 to score a run or two late on a very taxed Orioles bullpen. So that's how I feel.
Yeah. I pretty much feel the same type of way. I was looking at Cardinals team total over 4.5. But I mean, it would only be that. It's minus 110, minus 105. Last time I looked, like a half hour, 45 minutes ago. I just don't. This is going to sound kind of stupid, but I just think that maybe Baltimore starts to go on a little bit of a run here. And if that's the case, like, I just don't want to be trying to get in front of it. I agree. I don't really want to deal with Palante, but this Cardinals offense versus right-handed pitching has been pretty damn good over the last couple of weeks, albeit most of those games were at home. So I don't think they're nearly the same lineup probably on the road as they are at home, but they're still a middle of the road lineup on the road. But it wasn't, again, I couldn't get there because I feel like if Baltimore is starting to play better, and their bats are going to start going, and Palante gives it up, that bullpen's really not going to matter. So I can't actually bet St. Louis. So it would only be St. Louis team total over 4.5. But I think that Baltimore might go on a little bit of a run here, and I don't want to get in front of it. We'll see. Yeah, this one's a hard one for me.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Giants Tigers.
You're on the Tigers, aren't you?
I am plus 100. So, all right. Very simply, there's a couple things I think are worth looking at here. I'm not even the biggest Tigers guy. In fact, I've been saying that I think the Tigers are long overdue to come back down to earth. They have one of the best records in baseball. This is not one of the best teams in Major League Baseball. Certainly, they're an improved Tigers team from last year, but this is not one of the best teams in baseball, as their record would indicate. So I do think the Tigers are due for some regression. I'm sure we'll see them come back down to, I would imagine, between the Tigers, the Twins, and the Guardians. I would imagine that'll be a tight race for the AL Central come August. So I do think the Tigers will come back down to earth. That being said, I bet them yesterday, and they cashed for me. I bet them again today for different reasons. Yesterday, I bet them because it was one of those afternoon day games, and I liked Montero, the matchup for him. I thought he would pitch well, and he did. But today, I don't know if I like this spot for Logan Webb, man. It's Logan Webb on the road where he's not as reliable. I mean, that's historically, too. That's not just this year. Logan Webb on the road can be got to. Pitching against a bunch of lefties where he has been more vulnerable to lefty bats. So it's not the greatest spot for Logan Webb, but it's really on the other side. I mean, I know we're all taking shots at Jack Flaherty. He's not having a good season. I get it. But if there was ever a spot for Jack Flaherty to get his shit together and pitch well, it's right here. At home against a Giants lineup that just flat out does not hit on the road. This is one of the worst road lineups in baseball. So, yeah, I thought at plus 100 that was a bargain. It looks like the consensus number is minus 102, so pretty much in the same spot it was last night when I bet it. I probably would have this one Tigers minus 118, minus 120. I think the wrong team's favored, if you ask me. I think Flaherty can pitch well. I like the Tigers, like plus 100. I'm on it.
It would be Tigers or pass. I just couldn't bet them. For one, they used every single arm in their bullpen last night, and Vest and Tommy are two of the last three. I'm pretty sure they'll be all right. I'm not really super concerned, but it was enough to keep me off of them. Just with on top of the fact that I'm not really worried about Jack Flaherty either. I think he had a couple bad starts that made some of his numbers look worse than they are. But at the same time, I mean, he did pitch a lot last year, obviously going into the World Series and whatnot. So there's a lot there. I don't know what to think of Logan Webb. That's all. I just don't know if he's actually going to have 2 bad games back to back. So he's not the type of pitcher that usually does that very often. It's not really how you should cap baseball games, but that's just kind of my feel. So I agree that the wrong team should probably be favored. The Detroit at home has been an absolute wagon this year, 19-8 at home compared to San Francisco, who's not even 500. Or excuse me, they are 500 on the road. So it would only be Detroit for me. I didn't get there because of the bullpen.
Yeah, I got there, even with the bullpen.
I mean, you're just playing Detroit at home this year. You're killing it. So
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one.
I feel like there's a lot of these games where like I wanted to bet a side, but there's not enough to get there. I have some bets.
Copy paste what you just said for this one. I want to bet the Braves
exactly.
so
That's
bad.
why I mentioned that. I don't. I want to bet the Phillies so
Oh,
bad.
All right, go ahead.
I mean, I can't bet the Phillies because I don't really trust their bullpen. They're coming home from a West Coast road trip and all that stuff. But I just feel like this came down a little bit, but I just felt like what was it plus 100 now?
No,
I think it was 1 of 10.
No, it was pretty.
Minus
It was close.
105, yeah.
It was close to this. It hasn't moved much.
Yeah, I was gonna say I just felt like you were getting a little bit of a discount with Philadelphia with Strider on the mound. Again, I'm not trying to make a case that he's not going to be very good at all or anything like that. But at the same time, he is still coming back from injury. I think he's going to be on like that, still around that 75 pitch count mix. And then you're going to get a whole bunch of pieces in that Braves bullpen, which I like Hernandez and Iglesias is fine, but everybody else is kind of hit or miss for me. But it's the Braves versus lefties. They haven't seen a whole bunch of them this year. And I get that Ranger Suarez hasn't pitched against really good competition, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Colorado. I get all that. But the first start against Arizona, I mean, that was his first start of the year. He obviously was injured at the beginning of the year with his forearm or something like that. So a red hot Arizona team or a very good Arizona team that absolutely smashes him his first start. I don't really put too much stock into that. The Rockies are terrible, but to fly across the country and pitch 6 innings of no-hit ball in Colorado shows me that he's probably pitching decent enough. So, and the home start against Pittsburgh, he went 7 innings and 3 runs. So the Braves just have to prove it to me, not only with Strider going deep into games and pitching well, but also them versus left-handed pitching. So again, I didn't bet the Phillies because their bullpen's a mess. And I mean, Bryce Harper's hot, but I don't really know about everybody else. So I can see why you want to bet the Braves, but yeah, that's my thoughts.
I just think this price is pretty telling, only minus 120, and I think it's going to be the other way around. I think in 1 month, even as recent as 1 month from now, if this game was played again with this pitching matchup, the Braves would be minus 125. I think Spencer Strider is going to be a significantly better starting pitcher than Ranger Suarez this year. The Braves are, if it wasn't for that cold start, we would view them differently. I think the Braves are going to be every bit as good as the Phillies this year, especially now that Acuna's back in the lineup. And, I mean, man, I can't unsee the recent schedule for Philadelphia, guys. The Pirates at home, the Rockies for 4 games, the A's. I mean, they've played the 3 worst teams in the Major League Baseball back to back to back. So it's a sell high spot on Philadelphia. I think the Braves win. I couldn't get there to bet it because, how deep into the game is Strider going to go? So I don't want to.
75 pitches.
I heard it might be up to 85.
Okay. Even regardless, I mean, he's not.
Yeah, but the Phillies aren't killing righties like that.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why there's a lot of questions. I mean, but yeah. And I didn't bet the Phillies because I hate the spot too, coming home from the West Coast, even regardless of the day off or not. I just hate that spot.
Twins Rays in Tampa is next. I have no freaking idea, dude. I truly have no idea. I'm just going to say over a pass because of the ballpark and the weather. No idea. This is such a coin flip to me. Based on the way Joe Ryan's pitched, you would think you got to take the minus 125. But I kind of think the Rays are just riding a hot streak right now. I'm just going to say over a pass. No interest.
It would only be the Twins for me. The only reason I'm not going to is that, again, Joe Ryan is pitching very, very, very well this year. So I'm not going to try to figure out when we should get in front of it. I will say, though, on the road this year, he had one bad start against Atlanta where he went 5 innings, gave up 8 hits and 6 runs. But He pitched well in St. Louis over 5 innings, well against Kansas City. I know that they suck over 7 innings. He pitched well in Boston over 6 innings, which I know they can be hit or miss at home as well. And then Milwaukee on the road as well over 6 innings. So he hasn't really faced a very good offensive team on the road yet. I don't know if you put the Rays in that category. I know that they have heated up a little bit lately. So if you are inclined to think that the Rays bats are back and this would be a great time to fade Joe Ryan on the road, because this might be his hardest test on the road, give or take. If you want to argue it, I don't care. But yeah, it would only be the Twins for me. They just continue to find ways to win games. So I know they've lost 2 in a row, but again, they're 16-4 their last 20. So they've been winning games regardless.
I just look, Joe Ryan's been freaking awesome, but I think it was Spoon last night was talking about how this has been a terrible ballpark for pitchers that rely on the fastball, and it's hot as shit. It's humid. There's wind blowing out to left. It's not necessarily a fade of Joe Ryan. I just think it's one of those ballparks, the way it's playing right now, where it doesn't matter how good you're throwing it. You're going to give up some runs. The ball's carrying. So, and not to mention the Rays are kind of hot. The offense is scoring. Yeah. So I just think the Rays are going to hit Joe Ryan. And if the Rays are going to hit Joe Ryan, where does that even leave us with this game? So I just said over or pass. But coin flip next. Jonathan Cannon against Meatball. I kind of think if you're going to take a shot with the White Sox in this one, that this would be the spot.
Really?
Yeah, Jonathan Cannon hasn't been all that bad. Meatball has kind of been. I just think, all right, so if you take a step back and really look how Meatball McGill's been pitching, it's not good recently as a whole. Hasn't been pitched. I think it was 4 shaky starts in a row. Then he went into Boston, struck out 10 guys. It was all over Twitter. Everyone was talking about Meatball McGill's 10 strikeouts. I was talking shit to Dom in the Discord, still making fun of him about that to this day. 10 strikeouts, Meatball McGill in Boston in Fenway.
He looks fantastic.
He didn't even make it through 5 innings in that start, Toes.
Fair. Very fair. I get it.
So if you like the 10 strikeouts is kind of skewing our vision here. He hasn't been all that good. And the White Sox,
I think you can say that about a lot of his starts, though. He had a lot of strikeouts, but not going deep into games. I actually never noticed that, so that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't really trust Meatball McGill right now. The White Sox lineup isn't that bad either. They did recently score 10 on the Rangers. I said White Sox plus 1.5 on the show last night. I didn't bet it, but I don't think it's that crazy. If you look at the recent righty starters against the White Sox, they're not getting blanked. Now, they're not crushing them, but they're not getting blanked by righty starters. They had 11 base runners against Jack Leiter, 8 base runners against Tyler Mahle. He only went 5. Jack Leiter went 5. They scored 4 runs on Logan Evans. They didn't get to Castillo. It's not like they're just getting blanked. This isn't like a Pittsburgh Pirates type of ice-cold lineup. They are doing something. The Mets, I don't really trust their bats right now. I think you go White Sox plus 1.5. I think it'll be similar to what we saw last night. I think it's going to be low scoring. Jonathan Cannon's been good. I actually might trust Jonathan Cannon on the same level of Meatball McGill right now. He's got great numbers. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's not that crazy. I wouldn't say that's crazy.
Yeah, I think this wouldn't be a terrible spot to take a shot with the White Sox. I'll say White Sox plus 1.5. I don't have a bet on it.
I think there's a huge perception with anybody that's on the White Sox that they're just automatically terrible. So with that being said, I don't hate that. I would say the White Sox bullpen is a little bit of an issue. I mean, they're already terrible, and they already Wilson blew a save yesterday. Steven Wilson didn't look great. Leisure blew a save on Sunday. So it really hasn't been great for them. I guess you don't need me to tell you that the White Sox bullpen is bad. It would be first 5 under 4.5, but I'm not playing it because it was like juiced to like 125 when I looked last night. And now it's down to like 115 in some places. So the fact that it didn't move down to 4 is kind of like bothering me, I guess. But the reason that I do that is like Kyle said, Jonathan Cannon's been pretty damn good this year. More than a serviceable starter. I think that if he wasn't on the White Sox, then I think that we would be getting a different view of who Jonathan Cannon was. So again, really only one blow-up. The 2 blow-up starts were on the road in Cleveland, Boston, and Chicago, which again, those places can get you. It's not like Citi Field, and especially it's not like this Mets lineup. So I don't really expect Jonathan Cannon to pitch bad. And then as far as Meatball McGill is concerned, on the road. A lot of those starts that we're talking about, though, are on the road. I mean, his home starts have been really, really good this year so far. Toronto, Miami, Philadelphia. The Cubs got to him. Obviously, the Cubs one of the best offenses in baseball right now. So when he's faced competition like the White Sox at home, he's pitched extremely well. So I don't think the White Sox score much either. So I would say under any way you can. If you want to take some runs with the White Sox, that's probably good too.
Yeah, I kind of like the White Sox. I think the Mets might drop this one.
I don't hate it. I definitely wouldn't pay that price for the Mets. There's no way.
All right, so move on to the next one.
And you're not going to have Diaz in the game either, just for the record, forever. All you Mets parlay bettors.
I doubt Diaz will be available. He only threw 11 pitches, and he had the day off before that, but he's pitched 3 of the last 4. He pitched on both Friday and Saturday. So I doubt you see Diaz, which means... Reed Garrett closed it out on Sunday night for us. I don't know how often you can count on him to do that.
I was gonna say, don't ask him to do it 2 times in a row.
We were at the game Sunday night, and the Mets were up 3-1 going into the 9th inning, and obviously we knew Diaz wasn't going to be available. So I could tell by the way they managed their bullpen that Reed Garrett was going to close it, and it was after the bottom of the 8th, and the Dodgers were about to come up, and they played an entrance song for Reed Garrett. Like the lights went out, and I was like, oh fuck, we're about to lose. We're losing. Like
on Instagram, I filmed that and I put it's closing time, and then in parentheses I put kinda.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You shared it on your Instagram story. They gave like a Reed Garrett, because Diaz wasn't available. They gave Reed Garrett like a full on like lights out strobe light intro with music, and I was like, oh, we are freaking losing this. But he closed it out. Can he close out 2 in a row? We'll see. Cincinnati on the road to Kansas City. Do you think Brady Singer deals here? It's a revenge game for both Brady Singer and Jonathan India.
It is. I bet the Reds first 5. I didn't bet it because of the revenge factor. But I mean, I guess that's part of it. I don't think that. I mean, Brady Singer's been up and down this year. That's for sure. But at the same time, this is more of me kind of playing on the Reds bats. And I know that they can be what we've talked about this Reds team, it seems like ad nauseum over the last couple of years, is how streaky they are. And they can be the hottest lineup in baseball for 2 weeks and then the absolute worst lineup in baseball for 2 weeks. And I think we're starting to see one of those hot streaks come around. 7, 8, 6, 6, 1, 0, 7, 3, 4, 5, their last 10 games as far as runs scored is concerned. So I know it's a bullpen day, and I know that Kyle's talked about this. I've talked about this. Probably John Legaza's talked about this. It's whenever we see a bullpen day, that's not like an automatic fade. This isn't me being like, oh, it's the Royals bullpen day, we got to fade it. Like,
not to mention that bullpen's deep.
Yeah. Well, that too. The Royals bullpen is one of the better bullpens in the league. But I just wanted to make that point. It wasn't me trying to make a case that we're fading the Royals because of the bullpen day. So I'm really not a big fan of Daniel Lynch. I don't think he's that good, and I just think that the Reds bats can get to any of these guys that they see at the beginning, because I do think that Brady Singer's capable of going 6 innings of like 2-run baseball here, and if he does that, that should be enough. So.
Not to mention, I'm not even sure if we could call this a bullpen day for the Royals, because Daniel Lynch has been a starter. He was in the rotation in 2023. So it's not like this dude is just a flat bullpen arm. In 2023, he was a regular starter in the rotation. In fact, there were stretches where he wasn't even that bad at all. So I think Daniel Lynch could pitch well, honestly. I agree with you that I don't think the Royals are going to score off Brady Singer. Guys, remember, it's not a revenge. It's not just a revenge against the old team and then whatever, some hot take ESPN thing. It's not just that. This is Daniel Lynch. The reason it's very significant here, he was a home away guy to the maximum. In fact, he was one of the most extreme home away splits guy in the MLB for multiple years. I mean, if you rewind back to last year and watched our old shows, Brady Singer, I used to ask, is it at home or is that on the road? Because on the road, you fade him. But at home, in this ballpark, which is obviously not his home anymore, Kansas City, Singer was lights out here. I mean, does that translate? Because in baseball, it's not just a matter of the ballpark. Sometimes it's pitching second, pitching in the bottom of the first. It's watching the other pitcher go first and then match it. Like, there's a lot of psychological shit that goes with it. But I think he pitches well in this ballpark because he always pitched well in this ballpark.
Mm-hmm. He's comfortable. He's going to be comfortable. Oh, and by the way, guys, the Royals still can't hit. They've scored 2 runs or more. I'm sorry, more than 2 runs twice in the last 10 games versus right-handed starters. So they still can't hit.
What I want to do is Royals team total under, because I think Singer pitches well, and I don't want to have to rely on those weird ass 180 streaky ass Reds bats.
Fair.
But why can't I take Royals team total under? Because the Reds bullpen is a little bit of a situation here. No Pagan, no Santillan. So how can I take a Royals team total under?
Sorry.
Yeah, it's like 3.5 for the Royals. When the Reds, I guess under or pass.
You don't want it to be. You don't want it to be. 3-2 Reds in the 7th, and then Ashcraft and Taylor Rogers come out there, and then you lose it. It's going to be the worst feeling in the world. So,
yeah, and even Taylor Rogers is a little bit taxed. Like, he's not even rested.
Yeah.
So let's move on.
That's why that first 5.
Red Sox, Brewers. It's Savale official. It's Savale. Savale's going to start against Dick Fitz.
Versus Dick Fitz.
Dude, that name is freaking crazy, Dick Fitz. All right, so Savale, is this his first start of the year?
I think so, yeah.
He's got a 9.
No, he had one last week.
Why do I not remember that?
2.
Did we not do a show that day? I don't remember talking about Savale. I have no opinion on this game, by the way. I think the Red Sox should score, but I had the Red Sox team total over yesterday. Obviously fell short. That being said, they were like 1 of 9 with runners in scoring position, so I very easily could have got that team total over 3.5. They left a lot of guys on base, but it was a loss. I think the Red Sox should score here, but I have no idea. What do you think?
Red Sox on the money line for me. Bet it last night when I was in the airport in Portland at plus 105. First and foremost, Savales could get got, and I know that this Red Sox offense hasn't looked great the last couple of times, but if there is a recipe for success, it'd be Aaron Savale, who I promise you guys is not good. But the most important thing about Aaron Savale for me is that he does not go deep into games. Going back to 2024, I mean, he's made it past the 5th inning one time in his last 7 starts. And why does that matter to me today? Because if you pull up the Milwaukee bullpen, it's one of those things where it's a paint by numbers. You're not going to have McGill. You're not going to have Uribe. That's your top 2 arms. Everybody else is going to be available, but DJ Hall pitched yesterday as well. So that's one of their long relievers. So I don't know who's going to be closing this game for them. And then as far as Boston is concerned, I'm not really worried about their pitching. I don't really trust this Brewers offense to save their life. I know that they've been hitting a lot better over the last couple of weeks. I get that. They've also been hitting against the Baltimore pitching staff and the Pittsburgh pitching staff as well. So that we'll see if those numbers last longer than when they face these better pitching staffs. Again, not that Dick Fitz is some magical pitcher, but I just think that this price is a little bit too short for Boston. So yeah, I like Boston. I bet him at plus 105.
I would agree with Red Sox. I am not going to bet it, though. I already have a couple dogs we're about to get to that are they're disgusting. Don't worry. A couple more games we're getting to. A couple disgusting underdogs I'm on tonight.
We're on the same one on one of them.
Hopefully the one that I got 20 cents of CLV and not the other one.
It's not that one.
All right. Blue Jays, Rangers. I have a bet in this game.
Me too.
All right. You go first.
Happy Bowden Francis Day.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't play team total though, because it's on top of the fact that I've been playing Evaldi every time he plays too. So Rangers first 5 on the run line, minus 102 on BetMGM. If I'm going to be dead honest with you guys, the line movement is absolutely terrifying. This number continued to go down throughout the day. I only bet this like 2 hours ago or something like that. But Bowden Francis pitched okay against the lifeless Padres, I guess. He still gave up 2 runs. Only on 3 hits, but he still walked 3 guys, only 4 innings. I get that the Rangers offense is absolutely terrible, but I do think that they have an advantage here starting pitching wise with Nate Evaldi. So now Evaldi has been an absolute monster. I mean, all year. I mean, his worst start is at home against the Dodgers, where he went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits and 3 runs. Since then, it's been 6 innings against the Giants, the Athletics, on the road at Boston, on the road at Detroit, at home at Houston, on the road against the Yankees. He's going 6 innings and giving up 1 run in all those starts, even more than 6 innings in some of them. So just going to continue to play on Evaldi through the first 5. I want nothing to do with the Texas bullpen. If you're playing Toronto money line, I totally get it, especially at a big plus price. But I want nothing to do with the Rangers in the back half of this ball game. I want everything to do with the Rangers bats versus Bowden Francis and Nathan Evaldi continuing to pitch well.
Well, if if you wanted to play on Toronto, you missed it. It was a plus 140. I think it was a plus 144 available when we were doing this last night. So
that's why I stuttered. I was like, damn, West 120? Jesus.
Yeah, it's moved a lot. So if you didn't get Toronto last night, it's probably too late. I bet Toronto in a weird way. I'm on the Rangers team total under 4.5, minus 132. I actually like this bet a lot. You have to pay like minus 150 for it now. So obviously you don't like it that much at the current price. The Rangers team total under 4.5. I've played this spot a few times this year. The Rangers can't score. They're one of the worst lineups in baseball right now. I think Bowden Francis could pitch well, but instead of playing on that plus 140 Toronto last night, Toronto just came through for me yesterday too. So they're in my good graces right now.
Yeah, I know. That's what wasn't easy for me either.
But the reason I didn't go back to him was this protects me against an Eovaldi gem. If the Rangers can win this game 3-1, go ahead. And in that case, they don't even bat in the bottom of the ninth. So I might steal an extra 3 outs here by taking the team total under with the home team. And I think it's very possible if the Blue Jays have just 1 or 2 runs going into the 8th and 9th innings. There's a very strong possibility. I mean, the Rangers are minus 143 favorites. There's a very strong possibility that the Rangers do not bat in the bottom of the ninth, which is obviously lovely. Getting to 5 runs in 8 innings with one of the coldest lineups in baseball, I'll take it. So, yeah, I'm on the Rangers team total under. I like this bet. But like I said, you can't get the number anymore.
ESPN's hanging a 7.5 on the board, too, so that's got to feel good for you.
Well, when we were looking at it last night, what's his name? Spoon pointed this out. ESPN at 7.5, and FanDuel was all the way up at 8.5. Usually,
yeah, I love ESPN for that. I pay those 130s all the time sometimes.
Yep. Next up, Cubs Rockies. It's just under a pass for me. Wind blowing in at Wrigley. Yesterday I said 4-1 Cubs. I think it was 3-1, so I almost nailed it. I didn't bet it though. Cubs should win, but I can't see them putting up a shitload of runs in this weather, even against Marquez, who's due to get rocked coming off a gem. But it's just under a pass. No interest in this one.
Yeah, I played PCA hits, runs, and RBIs at minus 140, guys. I talked about him in the underdog, so if you want a reason why, but he's been an absolute monster, so I don't think you really need a reason.
All right, let's move on. Next game.
Let's go.
You like this one?
I love this game.
What? What did you bet in this? Go ahead.
Oakland on the Sacramento, the Athletics on the money line plus 205.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, dude.
That's
disgusting. Yeah. This is so disgusting. So I just, for one, I'm not really sure. I trust the Astros versus right-handed pitching, and I know that they're at home and they pitch much better there. I get all that. But I'm not sure if I trust them as much versus left-handed pitching. The game against Kyle Hart, I mean, he's really not that good, and he just kind of walked into a buzzsaw there. I mean, he gave up 10 hits. He was terrible. And then they got to Bubik in a weird spot after they had been losing a whole bunch of games, and it is what it is. Jordan got to him. It is what it is, but Jordan's not going to be there today. That's for one. And then Bubik came in there and pitched really well against them. And so for me, it's what am I going to get out of JP Sears? And he's looked really, really bad his last 2 starts. So everybody's kind of out on JP Sears, and they forget that he pitched really well against the Yankees and really well against on the road in Miami and Texas and twice and the White Sox. And I will give you that all those teams aren't really as good, but he also has pitched a lot against this division rival Houston team in his career and pitched really, really well with them. He's pitched bad against them 1 time in the last 3 or 4 years. In 2024, he had 1 bad start against them at home where he gave up 9 hits and 8 runs. It was absolutely terrible. But he went on the road in Houston last year, went 6 innings, went up 4 hits and no runs. He pitched at home against them before that start, went 6 innings, only gave up 2 hits and no runs. Another road start in Houston where he gave up 5 hits and no runs, or 1 run, excuse me. JP Sears absolutely loves pitching in Oakland here. Nobody wants to play on Oakland right now. They're so freaking terrible. It's Hunter Brown Day. He's going to come back after getting wrapped up in the Tampa Bay, blah, 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 blah. I think the A's come in here and win this ball game. Not to mention the fact you have the Astros coming home, are coming off of that huge series against Seattle, with the divisional series. I freaking love Oakland here today. I was just waiting for this number to continue to go up. Plus 205. Play the button. I don't give a shit.
Oh, I'm playing it.
These messages were brought to you by Fake Sharp Incorporated.
I like some of the comments were cracking me up. Someone goes, trusting JP Sears over Hunter Brown. What is in those monsters?
Oh my God, yeah. Oh no, like it's -110 on each side. That's how it works.
It'll be Houston -1.5 for pass for me. Now, if you want to see what Toast is talking about, look, I'm not agreeing at all. It'd be Houston -1.5 for pass for me. But if you wanted to see what Toast is talking about, if you are looking for some uncertainty with this Houston lineup, you can point at the fact that they haven't seen much left-handed pitching at all. In fact, it's actually kind of crazy that we're this far into the season, and that's all the data we have as far as Houston against lefty starters. That's wild. Now, the reason could be the team strategically try to avoid pitching lefties against Houston because they're so righty-heavy in their lineup, so teams maybe try to avoid throwing their left-handed starters out against the Astros, which is just nothing but righties. I guess I'm just throwing something out there of what could explain it. But, yeah, he's right in a sense that the Astros haven't seen many lefty starters this year.
I'll put it in terms of plate appearances this year. They have 1,712 plate appearances versus right-handed pitching this year as a team. They have 258 versus left-handed pitching.
That's crazy.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, they have not seen much left-handed pitching at all. That being said, I don't trust the A's to score on Sears, so
I just think it's going to be a coin flip going into the later innings. That's how I truly feel. So if Sears gets blown up,
dude,
then we know that.
Well, if they put our boy Holden on the mound, I love that guy. That guy, Holden,
he's our secret weapon.
Yo,
no,
yo, I don't know if you guys have seen Holden pitch in the A's bullpen. He's better than Mason Miller. This dude is, his shit was nice. Now, speaking of fake sharp bets, we got to talk about Yankees Angels. The market hates my bet here. I got absolutely smoked on this one. Terrible wager. Now, we all know terrible wagers still win sometimes, so I'm not folding my hand. But I got crushed. I'm holding an Angels +160 ticket, I think it is. Let me check. We'll see what number I got. +160. Ooh. So I got absolutely smoked by the market of this one. Just a bad bet. You can get a +180 now. So you can beat my number by 20 cents. So bad.
I mean, we've all had it happen.
It hasn't. Yeah. So I got smoked by the market on this one. That being said, Yankees bullpen is jeopardized here. Let me scroll up to it. Probably not going to see. No, definitely not going to see Luke Weaver. Probably not going to see Mark Leiter Jr., and I would welcome it if they tried. Devin Williams is going to have to close it out if they're in that position. Tim Hill, Ian Hamilton maybe. I don't really trust this Yankees bullpen, and say what you want. Maybe the Angels haven't seen a ton of left-handed pitching, but they are first in Major League Baseball in WRC plus against lefties in the last 14 days. Oh, I'm sorry, they're fourth now that it updated. They haven't seen a ton of lefty starters. That's the criticism of the Angels. But the last lefty starter they saw was JP Sears. They hung a 6-piece on him. Rodon, we know he is more than capable of getting smoked against all the righties in the Angels lineup. They're hitting home runs left and right. I think Rodon could get smoked here. Halo's up. Market hates it. Sharp Action hates it. I'm sitting on a really ugly ticket here, but I'm riding it out.
I'm going to be on the same bet. I've just been waiting because it's been climbing all day. I was already kind of leaning there last night. I wanted to see what it was in the morning. So I will be on it. I will be betting them. But just a little context to the Rodon thing. Yeah, he's been really, really good. But also not really. I mean, his road starts, Tampa Bay when they were really bad, Cleveland, Baltimore, Sacramento. So to say what you want about there, but he's been decent. I will give him that. He's been pretty damn good this year, but he doesn't really have a great history in Atlanta or in Anaheim. Last 2 starts there, only over 10 innings, just over 10 innings, over 9 runs given up. So again, this is a completely different Angels team. I get that. I'm just saying, there's not a good history there. This dude's an absolute head case. And it's not like the Yankees are just absolutely destroying every left-handed starter that they're facing. So, they got to Freeland and Corbin, but Sears pitched well. David Peterson pitched well. Robbie Ray, Skubal, Heaney. Povich is absolutely terrible. Bubic got 3. So my point is that the Yankees came out of Coors Field yesterday. They scored 5 runs and they got 4 of them in 1 inning. So it's not like this offense is scorching hot right now. On Sunday, they scored 5 runs in Coors as well. It's just again, it's just really not overly impressive to me. And the only reason I say it like that is because I know everybody gives me shit about talking about the Yankees bats. It's because they're priced like this. And right now, I just feel like this is a little bit too much of a price for the Yankees. So I will be on the Angels with you.
Yeah, market hates it. Let's move on to the next one. The good news is I bet another really crazy dog coming up, and the market loved that one. I actually crushed on that one, sitting on a great bet.
And with the Angels, yes, they haven't hit well the last couple games, but at the same time, like they're feast or famine. Just put it that way. They're either going to hit home runs or they're not. So if we're going to get a couple, we're going to get lucky. We're going to be in this game. So that's all. I mean, we'll see.
All right, Pirates on the road in Arizona. I got nothing in this one. I have no idea.
I would love to figure out a way to fade Corbin Burns in this spot, but I just can't do it. So he's been he was kind of shaky his first couple starts at home, but over his last couple, the Dodgers started, then the Colorado start, 13 innings, no runs. I have a hard time believing that Corbin Burns doesn't pitch well. Not to mention he just got done his start on the road at the Dodgers where he went 7 innings, only gave up 3 runs. In a loss, by the way. So I would expect Corbin Burns to pitch well. If there was a way for me to fade him, I would, but not with this Pirates team. No chance.
I truly have nothing.
I didn't bet it, for the record. I didn't bet anything.
Let's move on to. Oh no, not yet. I'm sorry. I thought it was the Marlins. I'm waiting for the Marlins. It's my moment.
Which one's this one?
Nats Mariners.
Yep.
And is it definitely Logan Evans?
That's how I capped the game.
Well, when we did it last night, it wasn't confirmed. When me and Spoon and Trevor talked about it last night, it wasn't confirmed. So
it is confirmed it's Logan Evans.
Okay,
yes.
So in that case, I think the move would be a Nats team total over. I wonder what number you could get it at. You could get a 3.5 last night. Can you still get that?
I'm on the first 5, so let me look. So you can get 3.5 minus 120.
It was plus 100 last night.
And I'm on. I did Washington first 5 team total over 1.5, and then Washington first 5 on the money line as well. Couple things for me. I don't think that Logan Evans should be pitching in the major leagues right now, and I think that the comments, I mean, especially I was in the comments last night, everybody knows that I just kind of like this Nats team. Not to mention the fact they've last few games on the road, they've been pretty damn well. Besides the Landon Rupp game, they got to AJ Smith-Shawver, they got to Strider, they've got to Eflin, they've got to Gibson. So they've been getting to some righty starters here. I know it's a long trip out to Seattle, but that's negated for me because you have Seattle coming home from a huge road trip where they went to San Diego, Chicago, and then finished it on the road in Houston for 4 games against a division rival. They lost 3 of those 4, and maybe you can say that that's like a get-up spot now that they're at home. I don't see it as that. So they were home for a long time. They finished out a series against a division rival where they really could have won, especially that game on Sunday. Houston ended up walking that game off in the bottom of the 9th. So I know that everybody's kind of out on Mitchell Parker. I just don't really feel like Mitchell Parker is as bad as everybody makes him out to be. Not to mention the fact that Seattle not only have their bats started to die slowly but surely, but versus left-handed pitching, they haven't really done anything for a while. I'll give you Framber Valdez, Max Fried, Patrick Corbin, Jeffrey Springs, Tyler Anderson. I mean, some of those names are really good. Some of those names you can take with a grain of salt, but they're really not getting to lefty starters. So if Mitchell Parker just doesn't get absolutely throttled here in a team that I don't think is in a very good spot, that doesn't really hit good at home either, I'm going to take that. So yeah, it's Nationals first 5 team total over 1.5 for me, and then Nationals first 5 on the money line, excuse me, at plus 125.
Yeah, that's where I would go with it. I didn't bet it, and I would have.
I did a half unit on each. Sorry, just so everybody knows what I'm doing.
If you guys remember, what I put on the screen last night was I like the Nationals team total over 3.5 at plus 100 if Logan Evans is starting, because at the time it wasn't confirmed. Now that it is, it looks like we can't get that plus 100 anymore. I still like the bet. I have a couple big dogs on there. I don't know if I'm trying to risk anything, but the reason I like it is right here, and Toast might have even mentioned this. I was having technical difficulties there, so he might have mentioned it. But Logan Evans versus lefties, is shaky
Yeah.
here. 347 WOBA, 164 WHIP against lefties compared to 131 righties, 461 xFIP against lefties compared to 384 righties. The reason that's significant, the Nats are loaded up with lefties, and it actually gets even better than that here. What pitches does Logan Evans throw? The cutter. It's his main pitch. He throws it almost 27% of the time. The Nats happen to be one of the best lineups in baseball hitting the cutter. Second in the season and weighted on base against the cutter. So I think it's a good matchup for the Nats to score some runs here. The weather here in Seattle isn't quite as bad as usual. I mean, obviously it's never going to be conducive for scoring runs, but it's not heavy wind blowing in or anything. I think the Nats could get to 4, but I didn't bet this.
To be honest, 70 degrees with minimal wind is like a nice day in Seattle.
That's what I'm saying.
You'll take that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's by Seattle standards, I think this is a pretty decent day for scoring runs. I think the Nats win personally, but
I did want to mention that. So as far as the first 5 is concerned, I know that if you're looking on like fan graphs and stuff, you're going to see Kyle Finnegan there, and he's not. You're going to see like a space in his name, and it's not going to say injured. So usually that means he's on the roster. It sounds like he is. I did a little bit of research last night. It sounds like he is. Davey Martinez said that he's dealing from arm fatigue, and they're trying to give him a couple days, but they don't want to put him on the IL. So you can just assume that he's not available tonight. And I think he's going to let us know when he should come back, but I just wanted to point that out. So I don't think you're going to have Finnegan available. It says that he is, but I'm pretty sure he's not available to go.
Last game up, and then we'll talk some golf. Marlins, Padres at San Diego. So I talked about how the market crushed me in the Angels game. Not this time. I smoked them on this one. I'm holding the Marlins plus 155 ticket. Yeah, I don't really understand. Are we really perceiving? I don't know if I'd bet it at plus 135, probably, but it's getting close to the point where it'd just be a pass. But yeah, I don't really understand the line here. Obviously, we know the Padres are the better team. Are we really going to stomp our fist onto the podium here and say Stephen Kolek significant starting pitching advantage over Max Meyer? That's what I'm saying. What are we doing here? We're getting Max Meyer against Kolek. Let's say it's a wash. I think Max Meyer might even be better. Certainly,
it's not a wash. Max Meyer is better. He's just been hit up this year. Stephen Kolek is not a major league pitcher, guys. I'm telling you.
Why on earth are we getting this number? Well, I guess we shouldn't have been because it's moved so significantly. But in the late innings for the Padres, you're not going to have Robert Suarez. He's gone 4 of the last 5, including 2 in a row. Robert Suarez is not pitching in this game. Jason Adam, not pitching in this game. Adrian Morejon, not pitching in this game. The Padres bullpen is severely limited. What are we doing here? I mean, I guess the market has adjusted itself, but
you might not even have Wandy Peralta, to be honest with you guys.
Yeah, Peralta threw 21 in 2 of the last 3. I don't know if Peralta's going to pitch. So if Kolek gets into trouble, who's pitching the second half of this game? The Padres bullpen is in a situation, not to mention, who the fuck are the Padres right now? They're not scoring. Like, who are the Padres right now? Yeah, okay, yeah. Are they a better team than the Marlins? Of course they are. They're not scoring right now. I'm sure at some point they will be scoring again. 1 extra innings win, and we're like, oh, yeah, Padres are back. This team's not hitting. Marlins, fish up, plus 155. I'm in.
Yeah, I just missed the number, guys. I was on a flight. This is one of the disadvantages of flying home. So I didn't think I was going to bet Miami if I could. Can't now, obviously, after 20 cents. I'm not going to. But I tried to tell you guys against Seattle and against Toronto, Kolek is not good. Those numbers on the road in Colorado and on the road at Pittsburgh is an absolute mirage. Those teams absolutely can't hit to save their life. So, there's some things that Padre fans like about Kolek, and if he can start getting guys up inside and blah, 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 I'm not going to go into it. The dude absolutely stinks. He needs to be in AAA to figure his stuff out. This price is absolutely ridiculous. I hope you win it.
Someone said, why pass if the bet's going to win? Because that's not exactly what we're doing. We're not betting I'm not betting the Marlins because I think the Marlins are going to win. These prices, these odds are based on implied probability. So if the Marlins are plus 150, that's just quick math. I don't know it off the top of my head, but that would be 40, let's say 38% hit rate to break even. So a plus 150 bet, if you think it's going to win at 39% or better, you bet it because you're going to turn a profit with that over time. So now if that same bet drops to plus 135, all of a sudden, if you think it's going to hit at 40%, you're not turning a profit anymore. So that's not what handicapping is. Not making predictions or picking winners. It's calculating a probability and betting the odds based on what will turn a profit over time. So plus 155, plus 135. That's a huge difference. That's a massive line movement. That goes from an excellent bet to no value. So it's not necessarily like, oh, picking the Marlins because I think the Marlins are going to win. I bet the Marlins at plus 155 because it should have been plus 135. Now that it's up at plus 135, the market's efficient. No more value. I don't know if anyone picked up on that, but
I made total sense to me. I just also wanted to say, not only are the Padres not playing good right now, I mean, they're 9-11 their last 20. The Marlins are 8-12 their last 20, 5-5 their last 10. You could argue that the Marlins are playing just as good, if not better, baseball currently than the Padres are right now. So, because keep in mind, when they beat the Angels were red hot. Everybody was all on top of the Angels, and the Marlins came there and just swam their way through a couple W's.
All right, let's talk some golf. Is Big Nasty here? He is.
Oh, he's there.
Toast, talk to you later.
Have a good night, guys.
All right. 1 second. Did my shit just freeze? Oh, we're back. Okay. What's up? What's up?
What's up?
Hear the baby in the background?
If you hear babies in the background, it's just Grandpa not being in control.
Oh, Uncle Tom's there?
Yeah, well, I'm at their house.
Oh, you're your parents? All right. So we have the Memorial Tournament. Is that correct?
We have the Memorial. That is correct.
All right. So let me get a poll up. So Scotty Scheffler is the favorite. Shocker.
Yeah, big surprise. Big
So
surprise.
Scheffler's plus 280.
Dude, I want to shed a little light on what Scotty Scheffler's doing. I did some numbers because I just was curious as to how close he was to Tiger when Tiger was in his prime. Scotty Scheffler in the last 50 tournaments has 48 top 20s.
Shut the fuck up.
It's literally
Wait, 48 out of 50?
48 out of 50, and like 16 of those are top 10s. And 11 wins or something. It's completely outrageous.
Wow. All right. So I see 5 graphics here. So you got some bets for us in this one. So
we got some bets.
Take it away.
Listen, we're gonna start with a guy who, thank God, he's back in the field because we can't go.
I already know what you're about to say. I already know.
So pull up Corey Connors.
Yep.
So the market might be catching up to us on Corey Connors here. Only plus 100. But listen, Corey Connors, 5 top 10s this year, 8 top 20s, 7 of his last are top 20s, and he has 3 top 25s at Memorial since 2020. So course history shows favorable matchups. Obviously, he's one of the hottest guys on tour. I think we've won probably 7 out of the last 8 weeks with Corey Connors.
I've lost twice with Connors. So, only once, I think.
You lost once, I think.
And then he came back and won.
And maybe one was a mitigated payout. You might have gotten. But I mean, listen, the guy is auto right now. So, we're talking about market value and the market not catching up on him. I gotta go Corey Connors again. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep. What's next?
Let's slide over to another guy who we talked about a lot recently. Show me Xander Schauffele.
We got minus 163 for top 20.
So I'm actually going to play Xander here in the top 10.
Okay.
Xander has six straight top 25s at the Memorial. So really, really good statistics. He hasn't been putting well since he's been back from injury. So think about what he's been doing since he's back from injury. He has 4 out of his last 5 tournaments. He's finished inside the top 20. The one where he missed top 20, he was T28. All right. And statistically, he hasn't been putting well yet. So, I mean, it's only a matter of time before the ball starts going in the hole for a champion like Xander Schauffele. So I like Xander actually top 10 here. You definitely get a lot better odds going top 10, but 6 straight top 25s. He's definitely going to be in contention, with those numbers. So I think I'm going to push the envelope here and take Schauffele top 10.
I like this. Jen is in the comments. She says, also worth looking at Connors as the top Canadian player. I bet you that's a cool bet. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the other Canadians.
Always check top in region. I didn't dive into that yet. but I'm always looking top in region. I think you probably have Mackenzie Hughes is in there, probably have Nick Taylor, and probably have Adam Hadwin. Those are the top 4.
Connor's got that on lock. I don't even know who those guys are.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, especially if he's close to even or plus money, I think it's a no-brainer.
All right, what's next?
Let's go to a guy we've talked about a couple of times this year. Show me Denny McCarthy.
McCarthy, there he is. Top 20 plus 130 I got.
Yeah, so Denny McCarthy has a pair of actually top 5 at this event in 2022 and 2023. He's arguably one of the best statistical putters on the PGA Tour. And then on a golf course that's talking about you really don't have to hit it far. Denny's not a far hitter. You have to be accurate off the tee. But like I said, with a flat stick in his hands, there's nobody really I trust more than Denny McCarthy, and you do get good course history here. He also has 17 straight cuts made. So, looking at just playing good golf, playing consistent golf, I really like the way that Denny McCarthy takes this golf course on.
All right, where to next? Someone asked, how did the first round winner go with Keith Mitchell? It definitely didn't win. If it won, I would have got a million messages.
It wasn't even close. I think he was +3. And then, of course, the last day he was 2 under through 11 holes, and he was climbing his way into the top 20 position. And I think he went he bogeyed 3 out of his last 6 holes and finished like T33. Right. But listen, we can't always get all these winners. Let's go to Sepp Straka.
Straka. We haven't bet Straka in a while.
We have not, and I find this price to be absolutely outrageous for Sepp Straka. So he's number 2 in FedEx Cup standings. He's got 2 wins. He just won 2 weeks ago at the Truist Championship. He has a T16 and a T5 here since 2023. So 2 top 20s in the last 3 years. And this year on tour, he has 10 top 15s out of 12 events. So really, really playing some spectacular golf. And he also is like 4th on the PGA Tour in terms of shots gained approach to the green. So not only does he drive it consistently off the tee, but he's really high up there in terms of, listen, you're not number 2 on the FedEx Cup standings for no reason. So I like the way Sepp Straka's game has fallen into form this year. And I think the price is too good to beat, for this event.
All right. I'm going to tail that one, by the way, because I remember we bet Sepp Straka several times last season. I don't think we've bet him yet this year.
No, I don't believe we've talked Sepp, and how I don't really know. I mean, like I said, he's been playing well, so I'm not sure if
why do we not bet him? He's been playing really well.
I mean, I usually check the odds, and I think the books have been pretty sharp on Sepp. So to find him in the plus money value here, that's
I'm
really
definitely taking this one.
Show me Russell Henley.
I got a Henley graphic here. Plus 130 for top 20. Plus
so listen, Russell Henley played some really, really good golf at the beginning of the year. He won Bay Hill, which is arguably one of the hardest golf courses, and really, really hard off the tee. So you're talking about the Memorial, talking about really need to be accurate off the tee. This is another golf course where Russell Henley can shine. You look at Russell Henley's stats in the last 5 years at this place, a T27, a T16, a T29, a T33. So he's hovering around that number. He's hovering around that top 20. The model that we're using, Data Golf, really, really likes Russell Henley. I think he's like inside the top 10 in terms of Data Golf, in terms of what this golf course calls for. So this is why I'm playing Russell Henley, even though the stats here aren't all top 20s. He's hovering right around that number. It's a good value play here, and I think he's definitely got a chance to crack that top 20.
I don't know about Henley. I'm taking Straka. I think I might take that Schauffele top 10. Maybe even, I very rarely bet a winner, but I think Alexander, because he got off to a rough start, and then I ended up playing well in the PGA Championship and almost crossed.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Xander wins this. So.
Yeah, he tried to backdoor top 20 for us. Like I said, that was his lone outside the top 20 finish in the last 4 starts. He was T28. I know you probably didn't put him on here, but I'm just gonna shout out Ricky Fowler.
No, hold on. Before he talks, just know he's a diehard Ricky Fowler fan. Do not tail this.
All right, so Ricky Fowler, Last week, he was in the final pairing, shit the bed, as per usual, because that's what Ricky Fowler does. But he's got 5 top 15s in this event, 3 top 10s in this event, all the way up to a runner-up finish. This year, he's 4 for 12 in terms of top 20s, so he's been playing okay. It's a longer shot play. That's why he's plus 210. I think it's decent value for a guy who's played a lot on this golf course and had some decent success. And he's 2 of 3 in terms of top 20s in his last 3 starts on the PGA Tour. So he's finding something. If he can figure out how to put 4 rounds together, he'll be right there. But, like he said, love Ricky Fowler, bet him all the time. So play with caution for this one.
All right. Or don't play at all is more accurately how I'll be doing it. I'm not betting Ricky Fowler. That was the 5th one, right? That's the last one.
That was everybody.
Taking
So you
Straka.
got Connors, maybe Schauffele top 10, and Straka.
Yeah, I'm taking Straka, and I got to take Connors just because how could I leave him out?
You got to.
I don't even want to bet him anymore, but he keeps winning. I can't not bet him. Like it's kind of like
it's crazy. I mean, like I said, I think the 1 week. So in the last 2.5 months, there was 1 week where we didn't talk about Corey Connors, and it was in the Masters, and he ended up finishing in the top 20 anyway.
And
so how we skipped over him that week, that's definitely an egg on my face. But listen, until it's the milk goes sour, we're gonna keep betting.
I believe it was 10 Cup says you ride her till she bucks you. You don't ride at all. I'm taking Sepp Straka. I'm taking Connors, and then I might put a few dollars on Schauffele to win, just to root for a winner. I think that's what I'm going to do.
I like that.
All right, everyone, enjoy your Tuesday night. If you're in the betting league, you have 35 minutes to submit. New betting league starts today. So we're all starting at 0. So if you wanted to get in on the betting league this week, you have 35 minutes to go on the website or the Discord to submit your picks for the day. If you don't know how to do that, just reach out to me on the website, the live chat, or social media, or the Discord, or wherever. Everyone, have a